What's up, my fellow Doncicians? I'm theLUKAshow. Welcome to the Luka Show. And in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about some of these hot takes we saw or heard of early on the season, especially in regards to Luka and the Mavericks. We're going to talk about how Luka is now rounding into form, no pun intended, and now what the Mavericks' outlook is, from my perspective, moving forward with Kristaps coming back, or his return imminent. And also, I want to take a look at a few of the plays from last night's game. Last night's game was the Mavs' gritty come from behind victory against the Nuggets after playing just a really awful first half of offense. And show you guys a few plays, a few moves of Luka Doncic from last night's game that I really like. I think are winning basketball plays, and I hope that he continues to use those plays. But anyways, let's get things started. Let's first look at a few of these hot takes that we heard in the first week of the season. Alright, so let's first start off with these hot takes that we've heard. And, you know, it's not just Luka, it's the whole league, it's everything, right? You heard early on, Steph Curry, the Warriors getting blown out. Oh, Steph Curry, his legacy is lost. The Warriors are the worst team in basketball. Then a few days later, Curry dropped 62 points, and the narrative switches once again. How could anyone ever, question Curry's legacy? He's the greatest shooter of all time, hands down, and the Warriors are legitimate contenders, or not contenders, but a legitimate playoff team. Just how dramatic our hobby is these days, right? One game, one performance. Everybody has a hot take too, right? Everyone's got an Instagram account, and which is fun, but sometimes people are just shouting after every game, and it gets old. Especially this offseason, this season, I should say, where the offseason was so short. You had basically Adam Silver in November telling the players, hey, you guys are coming back next month, right? And then you had an incredibly condensed training camp, just a handful of games for exhibition, and then thrown into the regular season right in the middle of the holidays, and people are trying to figure out, oh, why are there such lopsided scores, and people are struggling. Right? A lot of players are rounding into form. And I said that earlier about Luka. I'm not sure if you've seen the cartoon, round Luka, dribbling the ball, looking like he's 300 pounds. And, so saying rounding into form, I apologize, Luka, but you know what I mean. Because if you look at Luka's last 3 games that he's played, first, all 3 victories. Beat the Heat, beat the Rockets, beat the Nuggets. And if you look at that Heat and Rocket game, those are the games they struggled with last year, where they had the lead. And then the Rockets and the Heat, they both made runs. But this time around, the Mavericks, Luka, they stood the run and closed out the games defiantly. And then, obviously, last night, great victory. But if you look at those 3 victories, 3 quality teams, playoff teams from last year, they might be struggling this year. But Luka back to 32 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists, showing us that third-year Luka that we saw in the bubble last year. And things aren't slowing down, guys. Luka is finding himself, and now we have the Mavs with about a month and a half of basketball every other day. They don't have a 2-day break, and Luka's going to continue to find his groove. The Mavs are going to continue to find their groove. And now with the return of Kristaps Porzingis in the next week, we're really going to see the Mavericks, I think, take it to a whole nother level. There might be a few games where they're adjusting and getting Kristaps back into the rotation, and that will change things a little bit before they really start clicking. But you guys have to remember, Kristaps, he is a championship caliber type piece. If the Mavericks want to win a championship, they need Kristaps playing and playing well. And what he does is important on both sides of the ball. First, if you look on the offensive side of the ball, Kristaps changes the chessboard. He completely changes the chessboard for Luka. You have to realize, Kristaps, he sets up 30 feet from the basket to the left of Luka at the top of the key, creating tons of space for Luka to operate right at the top of the key. And that's where he's most dangerous. Now, what we've seen in the last several games, we saw that with the Nuggets yesterday. They want to make it as hard as possible for Luka to drive into the lane before he makes decisions. And you just can't do that with Kristaps, right? Kristaps is going to extend their big man out to that three-point line, and it's going to create great driving lanes, passing lanes for Luka. So really excited to see the Dallas offense looking like they did last year with the rearranged chessboard. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Kristaps is their anchor. He is their only true shot blocker. Yes, the Mavs have a few guys who can block shots, but it really comes from grit and determination. Guys like Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber, who just hustle to get their blocks. If you look at Willie Cauley-Stein, he might look like a shot blocker, but I followed him his entire career being in Sacramento, and he is not. He's like a one block a game type of guy. Kristaps, he is your traditional shot blocker. He is 7'3", he is long, and he changes shots in the paint, which is just as important as actually blocking shots, because you get in the minds of players, offensive players driving against you. So those two reasons, his effect on the offensive side of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball, huge for this team to become a playoff team into a championship contending type team. So really excited to see how the team looks with Kristaps back, but I do think it's going to be a really good look for this team. I don't know how it couldn't be. All right, so let's now get into a few of the plays from last night. It might be in 2 nights by the time I release this, but from last night, a few plays that Luka Doncic did that I really was impressed with. Okay, first shot I want to show you guys is a 3-point shot by Luka. Look at the scoreboard here. It's 112 to 109, just the beginning of overtime. Denver had just hit a 3-point shot. Luka was 1 for 5 in the first half shooting threes, most of them on step backs, side steps, and you guys all know the struggles he's had with his shot. And, you know, the reality is this step back shot that he has, it's a beautiful shot when it goes in, but it's a lower percentage 3-point shot for most players. And Luka really does have to limit that, and he really made that conscious decision in the second half to attack and not settle for threes. And so this shot, however, is a little bit different, right? Luka's posted up against a smaller player that he likes to do because he's an incredible post-up player. But this time far from the basket, and when Willie Cauley-Stein throws him the ball, he's by the 3-point line, just sets up. You see that? He's just set up his feet, and look what he does here. He's not going to sidestep. He's not going to step back. He just raises right over the top, catch and shoot, swishes it home. And that is a higher percentage shot. If Luka can incorporate more catch and shoot, not these step backs. I get it when it's, you know, at the end of the shot clock, you got to create a shot. That's a great weapon to have, but not early in the clock, right? So if Luka can eliminate or reduce the number of his step backs, have more clean catch and shoot shots like this, it's going to help his 3-point percentage quite a bit. Okay, so this is the last shot I want to show you guys. The Mavs are up 3, 38.4 seconds left. All they need is a bucket here to pretty much ice the game. And Luka, this shot here is something that he's been working on, something that we've seen 5 or 6 times already this season. He's pretty much made all of these shots, and it's an important weapon to have to close out games. Something that Kawhi does really well, and that's the mid-range shot. And here's Luka's take on the mid-range shot, really probing the defense, seeing what they're giving him, and then rising above, almost like a Dirk-like, with a little fadeaway. So let's see it. Drives, probes, defender on his back, little space, rises up, swish, ices the game. Huge shot. You can see how thrilled he is. But this shot, this mid-range shot, when you need a bucket, is a huge, huge weapon to have to close out these games. All right, one last play I want to take a look at. This is nothing too serious. It's more a sign that everything is okay. So Luka, in the second quarter of last night's game, he banged himself up pretty good. He hurt his ankle or his Achilles. He was grabbing down at his ankle area, and it was a dicey few minutes there as he was limping around, but he played through it. Tough guy. But this play a little bit later on in the quarter made me go, okay, he's fine. He's totally fine. So let's take a look at it. First, Luka's showing some defense. Get that out of here. Running the lane. Watch how he fills the lane and finishes here. Whoop! Beautiful kick. Look at it fly. Look at everyone's eyes watching. Let's see that one more time. The block. Running the lane. And then the athleticism. The whoop! Flip it up. Caught by the coach, but I think Luka's going to be all right, guys. I don't think you're doing this play if you've got a serious ankle injury. So it's all good. Luka looks fine. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for watching. Peace out.